I'm not gonna lie, I love funky laptops that are just a little bit different, and for CES 2022, so far the Lenovo Thinkbook Plus Gen 3 is scratching that itch for me. So even though we usually think of Lenovo as a pretty buttoned-down company, they make ThinkPads, very plain business laptops. They make Yogas, which fold, but are still very traditional in their own way. Even their gaming laptops have a certain understated gray design to them. They also do a lot of fun, funky stuff. The Thinkbook Plus Gen 3 is the funky, weird laptop from this year's CES. It follows on the feet of previous Thinkbook systems, which have tried to play around with the concept of secondary screens on laptops, which is something that every couple of years comes out of the woodwork and people try it out, never quite catches on, and then we don't see it for a while. This one I've got high hopes for because it combines a bunch of really interesting things. Previous ThinkBooks with secondary screens actually had e-ink displays on the back of the screen, which I think is super interesting. I love e-ink, but maybe it's not the most practical thing in the world. Other people who have taken color screens and made them secondary screens inside a laptop often replace the touchpad with that. So you have a touchpad that's also a color, LCD touchscreen, and that's not super practical either. So here in this new Thinkbook Plus, you've got a 17-inch display, and then you've got a separate 8-inch color LCD touchscreen built into the bottom half of the laptop, but then you've also got a regular touchpad on top of that, so you're not losing out on having just that traditional touchpad experience. Now, the regular screen, it's not just, your standard laptop screen, it's actually a 21:10 aspect ratio screen, which is something that's pretty rare, but I always like it when I see it. That means it's super, super wide screen. Some gaming monitors are set up like this, and I think it's a really interesting way to just get maximum real estate if you're going to look at things side by side on the screen. And then, of course, you've got this second display right over here next to the keyboard, and it's almost like they took like an 8-inch, little tablet and just dropped it right in there. Now, what can you do with a secondary display? A lot of it is going to depend on how different software applications support it, but in general, you can use it as a launcher and put some, shortcuts to your most frequently used programs on it. You can use it as like a notepad, where you have little notes and you can just have them on that screen rather than on your big screen. You can use it for media controls and lighting controls and things like that if you send those commands to that particular screen. Or you can use it as like a big number pad, if you need an actual, number pad, but you don't have that on your laptop, you can use it as that also. Lenovo says you can also use it to mirror some stuff on your smartphone. I'm assuming that's especially if you have a Motorola Android phone, because Lenovo makes those also. You can waterfall content off, let's say your full screen document onto this as a secondary space to hold extra text that doesn't fit on your main screen. Or you can use it as a Wacom almost style tablet with a stylus to do some editing on your photos or some artwork. I haven't seen that in person yet, but that sounds very interesting to me. Now, on the big screen, the resolution is 3072 by 1440. On that little 8-inch LCD, the resolution is 800 by 1280. So is this the most practical laptop you've ever seen? Well, no, but it's interesting to see people try new ideas, and of anybody throwing stuff at laptops to see what's going to stick, I trust Lenovo at least to, make sure the ergonomics of it work, because they're experts in, keyboard layout and everything like that. And of course, I like the idea of having a color touchscreen in here that does not interfere with the regular touchpad and isn't like in a weird spot like on the back of the lid where you're not really going to see it all that often. Lenovo says this new Thinkbook Plus Gen 3 will be available in May of 2022 for what I think is a fairly reasonable $13.99, considering there's so much interesting, unusual stuff going on in there.